Hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Ray Bradbury. If you've not subscribed to our channel, please do. Here on Let's Talk Ray Bradbury, we are reading through the collection, The Stories of Ray Bradbury. We are up to story number 57 of 100, which is also from 1957. It is the Picasso Summer. The way these videos go is I do a short synopsis, and then at the end I share all of my thoughts and feelings about the particular tale. So as for the synopsis, George and Alice Smith are in France on a beach vacation. George is a huge Picasso fan, and he's heard a rumor that Picasso may be vacationing or living in the area, and he has this idea that maybe by chance he'll see him. But he also has this sort of, not daydream, sort of dream goal in life that perhaps he could save up like $5,000, throw it at Picasso, and convince him to draw him anything, just so he could have a work of art by his favorite artist in his own home. And it's an obsession, his obsession with Picasso, and his wife does not really understand it. But the day goes on, and pretty soon, thoroughly sunburnt, George is one of the last people on the beach. His wife's gone back to the hotel, when in the distance he sees a bald fat man walking down the beach, and he thinks, could it be? And the man leans over and he uses his finger or an ice cream stick or something like that. It's not entirely clear. But he draws a masterpiece in the sand right on the edge of the tide. George walks over close enough to see it. The man finishes, he smiles, he walks away. The sun is going down, the tide's coming in, and George thinks, boy, maybe I can save it somehow. And then he's like, well, maybe I could run back to the hotel in time and get the camera and take a picture of it. But the sun's going down, and that sort of idea goes out the window. So George, he goes back to the hotel, he goes to the restaurant, he meets his wife, he sort of has a weird look in his eye. She thinks that, did you almost drown or something? Why are you acting so weird? And he says, no, do you hear that? Hear what? And he says it's the tide, and he hears the tide coming in, and he knows in his heart that this means that possibly Picasso's masterpiece has been washed away. So this is a pretty short story, but it's pretty sweet as well. We have a man who feels very strongly about an artist, about art, in a way that his loved one doesn't really understand, and I think a lot of us can relate to that. People who are very interested in the arts, and there's different books and music and paintings and movies and different things that really just enchant us and we obsess over, and we have a hard time explaining that that love to certain people. There's people who have different artistic interests and passions, but then there's also people who I get the feeling, at least in my personal life, who just don't feel strongly about art in any way. So I think that's very relatable here in this tale. But also what's interesting is this idea that, we think of art, like in the terms of like Picasso, a painter, as being a permanent thing, but here is a case of Picasso doing a very fleeting thing. And, the story is called The Picasso Summer, and so in this case, it's more than just the paint, the sketch itself in the sand. It's the memory of this time in this place, this fleeting moment, and as it's recorded sort of in George's memory. But I'm also, I feel like the story is still pretty relatable today. Just the idea that George thought that he could possibly take a camera and take a picture of this moment, but then he failed to, but yet the memory still is strong. Because, today in the days of smartphones, like this crappy one here, we all have, not all of us, but a lot of us have a tendency to be constantly taking pictures. And that's great because some of the great pictures of all time are being taken now, and things that were formerly moments that were missed and not recorded. And that's happening, but at the same time, are we missing the appreciation of the moment by constantly be looking through the phone? I think of rock concerts in particular where, everybody used to have a lighter, but they're still looking at the show. Now they have a cell phone and they're looking through the cell phone and sort of missing what's right in front of them. And I think that's a danger of our time right now. I think a lot of us have gotten caught up in the gadgets, and we haven't quite learned moderation, and we're taking pictures of everything. And in many cases, those pictures, those moments are completely meaningless to other people. Billions of pictures are taken every day, and how many of those pictures actually matter to anybody other than the person who's taking them, but also that person tends to be sharing that photo with everybody else as well. So I think it does cheapen the moment, but also those moments used to be private, and they used to be moments that we understood and memories that we held, and they became stories to tell. And the storytelling itself became an art form, and that sort of missed. And now we're just throwing photographs of everything at people, and they're not necessarily getting what we got from those moments. But in this story, George has a very special memory, a personal memory of his Picasso summer, and even his wife, she wasn't a witness to that moment. But it gives him a story to tell to her and to sort of express his passion with her for the rest of their lives. There you go, guys. The Picasso Summer from 1957. That is story number 57 of 100 in the Stories of Ray Bradbury collection. We've now reviewed 157 stories by Ray Bradbury here on Let's Talk, hoping to one day track down and review every single short story that he ever wrote that is still available. Next time, which will be in a couple of days, we'll be looking at The Day It Rained Forever, which also was written and published in 1957. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Maybe send a few bucks hitting the thanks buttons. Also, you could join our channel for a couple bucks a month just to show your support. And yeah, see you later.